Hey everybody, welcome back to Word Balloon and welcome to the weekend. John Suttress here. We are continuing our review of Star Trek Picard, me and Franco, and thank you very much for listening and thank you for your responses to our critiques. We're trying to be funny, but we're also, telling you what we like and what we don't like. And so far, again, in general, I'm enjoying the story enough, and God, it's great to see Patrick Stewart back. But we got our questions. We got our confusion with the story. So we'll see what you think of Episode 4 when you respond to what we have to say. This episode of Word Balloon brought to you by Aftershock Comics, shaking things up at your local comic shop right now. Great new titles like John Layman's The Man Who Effed Up Time and Zach Thompson's Undone by Blood. God Killers by Mark Sable to go along with favorites like Baby Teeth with Donny Cates and Gary Brown. And, of course, there's Dark Arc from Cullen Bunn and Juan Doe, and Dark Red from Tim Seeley, A Walk Through Hell from Garth Ennis, Animosity from Marguerite Bennett and Raphael De La Tour. Go to their website, you'll find great books and genre-bending story ideas that are waiting for you. You'll find full story descriptions, preview art pages, and how to get these books through the diamond codes to order through your local shop at AftershockComics.com. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. Our review of Star Trek Picard Episode 4 on Word Balloon.
Are you going to do the intro music?
Sure, we can. All right, here we go.
You definitely have to learn the new entrance.
I think that's more complicated. I think that would require more than two lips to actually be able to perform.
I still want you to try, though, I think.
No, I don't think I could, really, but I appreciate you saying that and everything. Well, welcome again to the Star Trek Picard review show on here on Word Balloon and the Oh Yeah podcast. Although I like Mitch Halleck's name for it. Let's call it the Picardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
I like that. I like that a lot. But it's me and Franco. Franco, welcome as always.
Hello. How are you?
Seriously, thank you for doing this consistently. We're on our fourth week now. We only have 6 more weeks. I thought it was 11 because I was looking at 11. I was looking on IMDb and I was looking at the cast list, and they had Patrick Stewart in 11 episodes, and everyone else wasn't in 10 or 11. They were in less than 10. So I'm like, oh, there must be an extra episode or whatever. And no, they're already counting the first episode of the second season on IMDb, just on the cast list.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But yeah, I'm like, all right, whatever. Jesus.
All right.
Too complicated.
Yeah, well, you know why they did that probably? Because they renewed this for the second season before the first season even aired. So that's why they probably put it up there.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, there was confirmation of it being renewed, so to speak. Yeah.
I'm with you. But man, we've gotten a lot of comments that I'm happy to go through later on. But right now, let's talk about the new episode.
I messaged you. Well, obviously spoilers because we're going to talk about everything. But yes. I messaged you earlier today that the whole episode was spoiled. The ending of the whole episode was spoiled for me as soon I got up and when I log on to Facebook, the first post on there was from somebody saying, "Oh my gosh, 7 of 9," and she says this, that. I'm like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah, that's not cool.
So I was annoyed, but
I watched it at 7:00 this morning, and again, let me stick with positives. Thank you, CBS All Access, for posting it as early as you do. And on my thing, it says it was posted late last night. So I mean,
maybe that's why the spoiler was up. Yeah.
Probably, yeah, and I'm sure there are people that are staying up late to see it. But yeah, it's like that stupid whole first. Like that's your comment, really? First, Jesus. Yeah. But anyway, we may as well start with it because it is so short. Special guest star Jerry Ryan. Yeah, for 30 seconds. Thanks.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And I mean, you may as well have kept it a secret and not put her in the credits, dumbasses, until the end. So, as soon as I'm happy that it's out early, I would say dumbass for letting us know that Jerry Ryan's in it, and literally in the last 30 seconds of story, there she is.
Yeah. Where'd she come from?
Well,
what happened?
Of course.
Why is she there?
Well, of course, yeah, great. And then that's fine, episode 5. I'm cool with that. That's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And nice cliffhanger, that's fine. Good, whatever. But I got to be honest, on balance, a little disappointing episode. Kind of boring.
Really? really. I kind of liked it. There were some things that made me annoyed, but on the whole, I'm like, oh, he's getting his Picardians of the Galaxy together.
Right. And this is his Worf character. I want to call her. I want to call him Eleanor, but it's just Eleanor. But
Eleanor, right?
Yeah, he's Highlander Romulan Highlander.
Right.
So
I got to admit that I did like his setup. I did like him, seeing him as a kid.
Sure.
I loved that, he was reading the Three Musketeers, and he was
yes, Alexander
teaching him how to
Dumas.
fence. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
I'm disappointed you didn't pronounce it the correct way.
Dumbass.
Alexander Dumbass. Yeah.
Exactly, from Shawshank Redemption. Exactly, Alexander Dumbass. No, and I agree with that. And also, I liked the setup of a little more Romulan religion or mythology, and we got the warrior nuns, which is a great image in your brain of warrior nuns. And I'm cool with Eleanor for the most part in terms of being this character that was raised by nuns and kind of out of place. Again, we're 4 episodes in, and we got a little bit more of, okay, these were Romulan refugees left on whatever planet it is.
Vash.
Yeah, Vash. Man, they really got Vash on the brain. I hope Vash. I hope the archaeologist Vash does show up eventually. Jacques Vash, Vash Terrain.
That wouldn't make sense.
Well, and I guess, maybe that's. But actually, maybe the Vash planet is tied to the Jacques Vash in some way, and their ancient order or whatever. Maybe they'll go back, and the nuns are going to reveal part of the deep dark secret or whatever. But again, I don't know. I just want to know a little bit more about the people that are running the Borg cube. And I did. I don't know if I mentioned this on the last. I don't think I did. I finally figured it out from the last episode. After the last episode, because I watched it like another 5 times. I said I was like John Nash from A Beautiful Mind. Like, all that's missing is the conspiracy map with the yarn from all the different pins in the map and stuff. Okay, this is connected to this is connected to that. But I'm like, who is running this goddamn cube? And finally, after watching the 3rd episode for the upteenth time, the Trill that Soji is helping, getting into her coveralls, and they go and they hear the big orientation speech, stay out of the gray areas, whatever. While she's getting dressed, she says, the Romulan Free State rejected my application, but now 6 months later they finally approved it. And I'm like, okay, so they're in charge of the cube, but like, are they again? And obviously, the Romulan Empire is splintered off, and we learned a little bit more of that here. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, so are they?
But with what Hugh said,
tell him.
In the prior episode, wasn't he in charge of all that overseeing
the reclamation?
Yeah. So that's still kind of like, is he working for the Romulans, or is it something different?
Right, or is he being tolerated because they need him?
Right.
Yeah, and I don't even mind that as a mystery in terms of what are their real intentions with Hugh or Soji or the Trill Doctor and everything, beyond, I guess, the basic obvious of, and again, I don't believe it, that we don't do cybernetics at all. We don't do AI. Right. We don't do any of that stuff. But yeah, I'm still confused by, like, again, how much does the regular galaxy know, and why are humans and Trills being allowed to work on this cube if they don't have the facade of, hey, we're just, after the tragedy, we're trying to work with the rest of the galaxy and do a positive thing. So, yeah, please, Trills and humans are welcome to help us out. Or is it the other where they would be suspicious, and that the Federation might be suspicious of Soji if they believe she was a real person, and be like, hey, what the hell is this human, working for the Romulans? You know what I mean? Right.
Well, he did, Romulan Spock did say,
yes,
because I'm horrible at names.
Narek, yes.
He did say that they've been studying her, or the sister said something like, you've been studying this Soji. Or her your
Soji.
whole life.
Oh.
Right. And he said, it was right at the end of the conversation between the two of them, and he said, I have to be careful or she will be activated. And then, the sister, because I only saw it once, so forgive me.
So have I, by the way, and shame on us, I guess, for the purposes of this episode, and I guess we'll watch it more, because, yeah, I didn't have time. I did like 3 word balloons today. So, but go on.
Ooh, good future stuff.
Yes,
but she said, that's what we want. Is we want to kill them all. Is she referring to synthetics? Is she referring to something else? Like by activating her, they're going to, kill or plan to kill somebody else. And then he admits that she's the destroyer.
Right.
So yeah, all of that kind of comes in and it's like, ooh, who are we killing? What are we doing? Are they killing Siths or synthetics?
Synthetics, yeah.
Right. So that was all very intriguing to me.
Well, all right. Should I save my wild hair theory moving forward till a little later, or should I say it now?
No, do now.
All right. I believe regarding the synths, 2 things. One, that, and obviously we're already in spoiler territory, so, this is my theory of where it's going. Bruce Maddox is going to be revealed to also be a secret Romulan all along, going back to even, the second
he's got the hidden ears?
Well, no, but there was, first of all, that technology, again, of changing alien races goes back to the original series.
Right.
So that's no big deal. But no, in the same way that, or they're going to retcon Measure of the Man, that even then, Bruce Maddox was a Romulan spy within the Federation, and that he's always had this nefarious plan regarding Data. And he was he was definitely an adversary at the beginning of the Measure of a Man episode, which, again, I'm sure all of you listening to this have likely seen again. I don't know if Franco has. I can't recommend it enough, because really watching that really does kind of explain Bruce Maddox, completely up to this story and everything. And it's, again, a lot of the same themes.
But the Daystrom Institute, where Allison Westwing is working,
Agnes,
Agnes, wasn't that all based on Maddox's work? Some of that.
Oh no, I think. I think he's been a secret Romulan all along, in the way that in real history, espionage history, there was a British intelligence officer named Ken Philby, and that had been working for the British since the 40s, and finally in the 80s, literally, he defected to the Soviet Union, and it was proven that he was a double agent the whole time. And there's that group called the Cambridge Spies. And he was one of the 4 of those group that really were KGB agents from the start, and infiltrating British intelligence. And I think that's my prediction about Maddox was, and that's like they said, that there might be intelligence officers in the highest levels of Starfleet, and Starfleet and everything. And it's like, well,
they kind of are alluding to that with
they're not alluding it; they're hitting it over the head with Commodore O.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, that makes sense. He just like Rizzo is really Narek's sister, and I forget her name, but is kind of a derivative of Narek. They're very uninspired. Everything's Vosh, everything's Narek. I don't know. Let me finish the other half of my theory, because it's connected still with the synths. I believe that Agnes is going to be revealed to also be a synth.
Ooh.
And that she is going to have a twin out there somewhere, and that when she is and by the way, that's why she was able to kill the Tal Shiar, or whatever the fuck it was called, the Tal Shiar agent, so easily.
Oh,
how about that?
Interesting.
So those are my 2. I don't know why, and I kind of hope I'm wrong, because if I'm figuring this shit out in the 3rd episode, then again, bad writing.
Right.
Because it's poor man's Blade Runner at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, a little bit of it is conjecture on your part.
Again, I don't deny that, and I will have no smugness other than, damn, I solved that Rubik's Cube faster than that Romulan in the Psycho Ward.
Right. But what I'm saying is you're picking up on things that they're putting in the episode, like her being able to handle that Romulan weapon and all that stuff, so yeah. Maybe.
Well, and also, I even have a further one when Agnes is reading Asimov, and he goes, "Tea? What kind of tea would you like?" And she's like, "Earl Grey." Like, is that what you like? because I'm wired somewhere deep in my programming. I'm supposed to be as likable to you as possible. I knew I liked you the moment I saw you.
Oh, boy. Man, you're good at this.
This is what I'm saying. You know, I'm
need a different host for this.
Well, and how she implores at the end of the third episode, you need me on this ship because I'm a robot expert. And yeah, of course they do. And it's all that's absolutely true. But I could just see a M. Night Shyamalan twist coming as far as, that they think is like a brilliant, and I'm just like, yeah, all right. You like that?
That's what I'm going to do if they actually do reveal that while I'm watching it.
Do you ever
I'll record myself.
The Spencer novels and Spencer for Hire. I don't think they ever did it on the TV show, but every now and then someone would like say something that would make something click in his head, and you go, aha! And they'd like stop what they were saying and get it confused. Like, what do you mean? What are you saying? No, nothing. Never mind. Keep going. But yeah, literally, that's like Fozzie Bear like coming to a conclusion.
Yeah.
So there you go. So those are my two wild hair predictions. As far
I
as
like them.
Goes. All right. Yeah, I
like them, and hopefully they won't happen.
Hopefully they won't happen because again, I find them trite, and I'm kind of embarrassed that I'm thinking in such a trite way. But I don't know. And also, all right, how about I like Rios's third? Why
do they all look like him?
Well, but whatever they do, and it's so funny because initially watching the third episode, I'm like, no, they kind of look alike. I'm sure it's somebody different. And then it's like, oh no, it's obviously definitely the same actor.
Yep.
Whatever, that's fun. I got no problem with that. But I do question the need.
He makes a big deal about hating them all.
What's that?
He does make a big deal about hating them.
Yeah, so why would you keep it in your own image or whatever? I don't know.
Unless they were programmed by someone else, and that's why he hates them.
Yeah, or whatever. Maybe it'd be more, maybe I can't work with other people, so I'll work with myself. And then he realizes, yeah, but I hate me. But also, all right, I understand having a navigator. Actually, I really don't. You would think that, automatic pilot or, once again, computer, hot left or whatever, and it's a small enough ship. Do you need an emergency hospitality program or whatever it is?
Right. You never know when you're going to have, when you're going to need finger sandwiches. So I'm okay with that.
Are there enough clean towels in everybody's room? Okay, I'm going to go away now. I left a mint on everyone's pillow.
I do want to change my Alexa opening to computer, so this way it's more like Star Trek in my house whenever I ask Alexa something.
I told you when I have Alexa, actually Siri calls me Batman. I'm sorry, Batman, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. She's my own Hazel. Siri's my own Hazel. And that, by the way, cracks me up. One of the people are like, why are you calling him Hazel and Alfred? It's like, lighten up, Francis. All right? I'm having fun. We're teasing. And I like those actors, too. And I like those characters.
I'm going to start calling Elnor Sister Boy.
I'm going to stick with Eleanor.
Yeah.
We just need that extra I. Eleanor, gee, I think you're swelling.
Because they didn't the Romulans call him that when he was running to Picard at the very beginning?
Were they calling him Eleanor?
They were calling him Sister Boy.
Oh, Sister Boy.
He said in Romulan, he said, bite me, that guy.
That's all I remember was the bite me part. That's very funny. No, I that's fine. And I liked him, hey, you didn't... How about he laps off the guy's head?
Well, that's the part that bothered me. Not the lopping off the head. I know why he did that, but and I thought that was cool. But that whole, Picard lands on Vashti or whatever this planet is, we were led to believe it was Free Cloud, but it wasn't, obviously.
Right.
But he goes up, sidles up to that bar, where it's Romulans only.
Right.
And then he goes to the sister nuns. And then he comes back and he's like, he's got 7 minutes to kill, so I'm just going to try and get all these Romulans to kill me. It was a little annoying. Like he pulls the sign down and he goes in.
Bad writing.
And I'm thinking, if you had led on after this, because I was going with it, but if he had led on afterwards to say, I knew you'd be, you'd show up to help me out, type thing. Like if he knew Eleanor was going to show up,
right?
And that's why he was doing it, but he didn't, And he scolds the guy, he scolds him for killing, and I get why, but I was waiting for some line or something like I knew you were going to show up, or I knew you wouldn't let me down, type thing. But he didn't. And why did he get into a massive fight with that senator and the other guys? Like, what was that all about?
I don't know. Well, I'll go further with the Romulans only sign. This is a Romulan refugee planet.
Right.
And I don't know if there's an indigenous species on the planet, another humanoid species. There didn't seem to be. Right. Again, I'm going to have to rewatch it, I suppose, and see if I can find other humans or anybody else working on there. And it's kind of, it's a shithole planet, as our president would say. Why are we helping these shithole planets?
Either that or the senator did say that we saw your speech, you brought a tear to our eye, you showed up with ships, and then you brought us here, and then you basically abandoned us here.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. And he said, Picard said to one of the nun that he's friends with, God, I can't believe, things have gotten this bad, and obviously there's so much need for resources and things. So what other species is, like, again, I get why the Romulans are there.
And I'm sorry I never came back either.
Well, and also, but also, like, why do you have that sign up? Romulans only. It's like, again, I didn't see...
I can see, like, if someone from the Federation or other people come in, like he did...
I guess.
That are visiting the place. I can understand why they have that sign up. What I don't get is why he tears the sign down and starts to fight with these guys.
Right. I'm 92. Right, I'm here to pick a fight with all of you.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't mean to fight.
Yeah. And then give him the sword, and then, okay, I'll start the sword fight with you. They cross swords once or twice, and then he throws it down and says no. Right. It's like, well, make up your mind. What are you doing?
And then he realized, my character's supposed to be 92. Wait, sorry. Yeah. I don't know, man. Again, the guy's moving around pretty goddamn good for a 92-year-old man.
Right.
So, can we stop on the way? I need to pee. Several times.
I do like that, and again, forgive me because I'm so bad with names and alien languages, literally. That thing that bonds Eleanor to him, the cause or whatever it's called.
Right.
I love that it's it's a lost cause.
Like a hopeless cause. Yeah,
it's a hopeless cause, and that's how you get one of these people to join you is you give them a hopeless cause.
That's kind of.
But I almost kind of like that. Yeah.
Oh, you do like it or you don't like it?
It was kind of hokey, but I don't know. I want to see how it plays out. But do all these other people die because it's a hopeless cause?
Yeah, I think it's unnecessary puffery of wow, what a sacrifice Highlander Romulan is making, Eleanor. I'm like, whatever, okay.
On the writing side of things, I could see where that can kind of play into some things, like if one of these Romulans were actually able to succeed in one of these causes, it would elevate their status, and that's why they're viewed the way they are. As
Well, who's the patron saint of lost causes? Is it Saint Anthony?
Well, I don't know.
And near Catholicism.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can tell how Catholicized I am because I don't even know. But I think
isn't that what the Pope says? All right, you're all Catholicized. All right, go ahead, get out of here.
Yeah,
beat it.
Take some host on your way out. Thank you. Yeah.
Take a handful of host. Nice.
Now we're going to get all these Catholics
exactly.
upset at us.
I resent that.
From a writing standpoint, I could see, you call it puffery, but I'm like, ooh, that's planting a seed for something that could be really cool, in the lore of these people. Kind of like almost like a Jedi Knight, like they've been exalted and raised to this status because, if they can succeed in this lost cause, then, they're looked upon like Jedi Knights or something,
I get it.
You don't have to agree with me.
No, like I said, I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't disagree. But I'm also looking for. I'm also looking for our comments beyond Facebook, which is where most of the comments are.
Yeah, but that annoyed me that he decided, I'm gonna,
mess with the Romulans,
try and fulfill a death wish right before 7 minutes before I'm about to be picked up by my ship. What
little space scenes were good. I enjoyed those. Those were fine. I found it funny that they're using the hologram to stay on the vineyard And I mean that home and that vineyard is beautiful. And
those sets ain't cheap, Johnny.
Well, and I get that exactly, but they could have had that.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't mean to nitpick. They could have had that conversation on the bridge, whatever.
Right.
And also, why would he recreate or even the ship? Maybe again, must have been the emergency hospitality program that came up with that, because he's given the big speech. I never felt like I belonged here.
Well, the hologram does say that Larry and Hazel. I forget
Larry, Alfred. I like Larry.
Alfred, yeah.
Let's call him Larry. Larry
gave him the specs for everything on the vineyard.
But why would he care when he says the same thing? I never felt really at home yet, or maybe only said it to Hazel.
But he says Larry thought you would. Alfred thought you would be more comfortable,
Larry,
like this.
I understand. No, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I just think everything that they did, they probably could have done in at least a half the time, if not the first 15 minutes, and we still kind of got in a free cloud. But whatever. I mean,
And you know what other scene I didn't understand?
Please.
When they were on the board cube with Romulan Spock. People are going to hate us.
I bet I know what you're about to talk about. Go on.
But the ice skating,
slip and slide.
Remember they were in the ventilation system.
Yeah, because why was that necessary? Remember when the Borg Queen is like slip and sliding and everything, and all the times we've seen her. Whee!
Well, that's what they do on their off time, apparently.
But it's like, to what purpose is that slippery surface there?
Right.
Is that like a Borg gag?
I can understand
the Borgs
that.
They tripped the drones. 7 of 12 once again fell on the slippery part. What a dumbass!
Watch! We'll get her again.
Yeah, exactly.
But why was that whole scene necessary? Like, we already know that these two are canoodling, for lack of a better word, and they have each other. At this, impasse where they're trying to get information out of each other. Why did it have to be there, and why did we need that scene? It just seemed like it was just wasted. I
agree. And because, again, they've already had those, like you said, even in mid-canoodle, I don't trust you. I don't trust you either.
Right.
So yeah, it's whatever. All right. I mean, again, I think it just chews up time. And you've got only 10 episodes, so why not just deal with that? But whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, and I like that we got a little bit more of Ramada's. I know her name's still not really Ramada. It's close enough. We got that video of her.
Bad check watchers. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Romulan batshit lady. That likes to play tarot cards. They got her last transmission as a commander or whatever before she went nuts.
Right.
And again, like she said, there's no. Well, again, you never know when the Romulans are telling the truth or not. But yeah, is there any record of what happened to the ship? No, but there might be in the cube. Let's go to the slip and slide, and we'll figure it out there in Canoodle.
Right.
I got to tell you, I am smitten by Soji. I think she's an adorable young actress.
Well, that's good, because I'm really smitten by Romulan Spock. So
exactly. He's hot. Yeah. He's hot. Yes, I agree. I'm not Spock. Yeah, sure. Nice going. Again, why didn't somebody in makeup and wardrobe go, he kind of looks like Ethan Peck did in season 2. Yeah, we don't care. All right.
No, the whole thing with the way of absolute candor, or absolute candor, where they tell.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the bottled city for a second. Go on.
No.
What absolute candor are you looking for?
But the Romulans are not like Vulcans, where they keep their emotions in check and stuff like that.
Right.
So, what did that all mean, and why was it important?
Exactly. I don't know. I found it unnecessary. Maybe it will play out later. That's a very good observation. But I'm just like,
oh, thank you.
I'm just rolling my eyes about. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Whatever. Because
hopefully they do build this stuff in so that later it does come up, like,
Well, but wait, but doesn't that fly in the face of that the Romulans are always so secretive?
Right. That's what I was
So
thinking.
is it just the Order? Just the sister warriors are Kandor people?
Right.
Or, people of Kandor?
Yes.
I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, how is this religious sect allowed to exist in such a secretive, controlled Romulan culture? Riddle me that, Batman.
I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, whatever. I will judge. I'll be happy to truly judge it on the whole when it's done. It's one of my first complaints when there's a comic book miniseries and we're on issue 2, and I don't know what's going on. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I expect more from TV. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to read letters?
I'd rather you read them.
Well, you can hear what they're saying.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow, there's a lot of.
I thought you wanted to be me to read them, and I don't read very well.
No. Hold on one second. What the hell just happened? It froze. It won't give me the comments. Oh, they're there. It was just loading them.
If these episodes go, 2 or 3 more, and we don't learn some of this stuff, I think I'm going to want the Destroyer to be activated.
Well, that's what I mean, man. Again. So now, and again, all right. So I was mistaken about it being 11 episodes, 10 episodes. We just had episode 4. So again, I'm no math genius, but that's 40% of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're, again, I just think there are a few things we should know by now. Dave Cummings says, I'm enjoying it. After this meaning episode 3 with Hugh, I would totally be down for the idea of a show or a few episodes on the expatriated Borg. Sure.
Yeah.
Why not? Scott Warren, and that's fine. And I'm like, he goes, I think the writing's fantastic. You and the CBS Trek might just have to agree to disagree. And he laughs, and I said, well, glad you like it. Like I said, it plays like bad soap opera to me. And Scott goes, oh, I know. I've been listening to your struggles with it. Okay, fine. There we go. What else? What did Mitch say here? He said, of course, Picardians of the Galaxy. Oh, yeah, when we were wondering why he had all those guns in his study. And he goes, maybe Picard has guns all over the place in case the competition tried to take his vineyard out. Yeah, Paul and Ernest Gallo are, or the Bartles and James guys are next to him. Yeah, I was talking to Ed the other day, and that Picard's really pissing me off.
Bola. He's out to get.
Oh, and then he goes, Scott Warren asked, would I say that Picard is better or worse than Adam Driver Smalls?
Oh, man. Come on. Why do we got to go there? Come on.
I said better, and I said, again, and I believe this, I think Star Trek Picard is still a lot better than Discovery.
Yes, I do, as well.
So
I do. I like the character a lot, so I'm willing to forgive a lot. But some of the stuff is starting to, creep in there. And you know me, I'm usually more forgiving than you are about this stuff. But
I want that
when he rips down that sign and he sits down, it's like, give me a drink.
Yeah, exactly.
What
and he was totally an old man ordering soup at that point. Chicken noodle soup now.
Crackers. I want crackers.
Yeah, where the hell's the crackers on the table? What do you think I'm going to steal? I want to say your name right, Mark LaFerrari. I hope I just did. All the scenes with Picard are great. The non-Picard scenes are hit and miss, but there's some hits. All right, fair enough.
Well, I think
Martin Piero goes, I agree.
Really due to Picard.
What's that?
And I think the scenes with Picard are due to Patrick Stewart. Just
of course.
Him, yeah.
Yeah. Although, again, and I think I was talking to Michalik earlier today, or texting him, and he's like, it was like they were all acting in a bad play, and there were times that Patrick Stewart's lines came very loudly. Senator, I implore you. It's like, he's kind of in a different play.
Ready, yes.
What's that?
Is my soup ready? Loud.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. I implore you, use the oyster crackers rather than the full-size saltines. Martin Piero says, I agree. At first I thought the slow pace was to let the characters breathe and have some room for growth. But the painful truth is the writers seem to enjoy focusing on their contrived and unnecessarily complex plot as opposed to telling a compelling story. While I do enjoy the show and most of the acting, I'm left with a feeling of this could be better. Yep.
I agree with you.
David Gallagher, the fine comic book writer.
I like that guy.
I like that guy as well. The scenes that are his are brilliant. I don't find the writing muddled, but there's way too many incidental characters. Fair enough. Mm-hmm. John Gandor, I'm with John, and I thought the writing would be better with Michael Chabon involved. Still all in, but hoping it'll pick up a bit. Dave Stone, Stewart's performance is the only thing keeping me around. Carlos Carmona says, I'm liking it. I'm surprised I didn't hear complaining about them going back to some nostalgia like some complain about The Mandalorian. I'm shrugging. Vishal Kocha says, agree. Good to see him back and the callback's back, but generally still hasn't gotten me that excited story-wise. And Gary Lima says, so basically they should have just put it out on a regular TV network. Yeah, I don't disagree. I wonder where it's going. Go ahead.
Well, I know why they're not doing it, but they're looking to make their pay service, but it's just right. I think you need to give us, for those of us that have been with Trek for a while, you need to give us something more than. And I understand their world building.
Yes,
so to speak, like the story there, but it's just a little too much. You're not giving us enough for what you're trying to do, I think.
Agreed. I also believe that, like the Good Fight, which is the sequel to The Good Wife, that's on streaming. I don't know if you noticed, but this summer, a regular CBS network was showing it as a summer show, and I could easily see them doing that with Picard. As they prepare for the second season, and showing it on after they've already made the money, or even a couple years down the line, I can see them doing it.
Right. Well, The Good Wife is on The Good Fight is on what season now? 2 or 3?
I want to say at least 3. Might even be 4.
So they just showed the first season,
right,
over the summer, right.
But also, I would assume. Because, and by the way, the Good Fight is a great show. It's an excellent show.
I might have to watch it eventually.
I'm a big fan. And Christine Bernansky and Delroy Lindo and the young actors and our buddy Niambe is in it. Mm-hmm. It's a very good show. But yeah, because like you said, they probably were going on the 3rd or 4th season, but they're still trying to get people to jump in and join. Unless also, now that Viacom and CBS have re-merged, who knows what?
That's right, they did, right?
Yeah. So
that means all the Treks are back together.
Yes, at least in theory, yes. It's weird though, because then again, there's also theories that as these secret hideout produced shows, that's the name of the production company that is part of JJ's contract with the movies, but it's the television division. That as long as they keep making new shows and that they do well, that they could kind of still do Star Trek their way, and it might eliminate other producers. I have no idea. But that's one of the rumor theories and stuff. Okay, Bernard Binder says, I wonder where it's going, but calling a highly decorated admiral JL, seeing a dry herb vaporizer and cigar smoking in the same episode was odd. It all feels so contemporary, like the writers can't imagine what a better world could look like. It's like the opposite of Roddenberry. I didn't disagree with some of that. And another Steve Rockwood. Steve Rockwood real fast, and then I want to hear what you think. Yeah, he's like, I also think it's kind of. I was hoping I wasn't the only one who found it weird. His name's Jean-Luc, not JL. It's even the same amount of syllables to say it. That's funny.
That's funny. Well, on the whole JL thing, like he's telegraphing that he, when he goes to that planet to pick up sister boy Eleanor, right. That he may never be back again. But she calls him JL again at some point. and that took me out of it. Like, oh, come on.
Yeah, I hear you, and I don't disagree. Whatever. It just means that they had a close relationship.
Right.
She could get that personal with them. Fine. Whatever.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. But number one couldn't call him that.
I was going to say the same thing, man. Riker never needed to call him that. None of the, hey, how's it going, JL? Watch your mouth, Jody. JL, I sense Data. Go fuck yourself with the JL shit. Because now on R-rated CBS All Access, apparently the word fuck is very used now in the 24th century.
Right? Because they broke a couple of them out again.
Yes, they did. Or didn't? Maybe I'm getting. I'm probably getting my shows confused. Didn't somebody get flipped off? I'm probably confusing my shows.
I want to say yes.
Didn't Eleanor as a kid flip off those kids that were making fun of him?
Maybe. Again.
Oh, by the way, that's another thing. I like the greeting that Sister Warrior and Picard gave each other. They had the secret Romulan handshake.
Yeah.
They're like, it starts as a prayer, and then their hands are open and stuff. And by the way, Jolan True, that's a callback. They said that in Next Generation. That's all over the place on that Spock two-parter in Next Gen.
Well, there you go.
Jolan True. I do like though that they every time he says it, there's the subtitle. Hello. It's like I think we could have figured that out. It's kind of like we never needed subtitles for Aloha, but thank you, or Shalom. But okay, sure.
When all the Romulans are eyeing him and get out of our town, Romulans only.
Yeah. What do you think he's saying as opposed to hello, like greetings or hello or something like that? Motherfuckers, hello.
Are all these people hard of hearing?
Lib dicks, welcome. I'm Jean-Luc Picard. Perhaps you've heard of me. I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Cully Hanner, ladies and gentlemen, has joined the audience. So far, I'm enjoying it for the Picard-centric stuff. To be honest, it's when we get to the stuff on the Borg Cube that I start looking at my phone. And then Dennis McGlynn says, the Borg have always seemed boring, even back in the Next Gen days. If we had cell phones back then, I would have looked at one too. That's very funny. And then now Scott Larson, Chicago independent comic creator, he's like, it's the storytelling. It's very complex instead of straightforward narrative. You're almost forced to watch each episode twice to catch everything. I'm enjoying it so much, though, that I'm happy to watch it twice. And I said, Scott, lots of bad dialogue. Sorry, I don't see it as complex. Just confused, and once again, people writing Trek that don't seem to understand how the Trek universe works. And Scott reported back, after multiple viewings of the Star Wars prequels, I've become immune to bad dialogue, laughing.
Oh, no.
I'm actually more disturbed by the constant swearing in these new shows and wish they would stop, and I agree with that. But then, he's just like, he says, I don't think it's lousy writing as much as a reflection of how people talk nowadays, including the bad language. Our society's really screwed up in so many ways. I honestly think it's a mirror of that. The new Twilight Zone is doing the same thing. And I'm like, here's another bad example. I'm like, the only mention of the Romulan Free State, as I said earlier, was when the Trill said it. And like I said, compare that to, and as I told you, I don't think I made that point. I'm like, compare that to the 6 minutes of the full 6 minute scene we get in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, after Praxis explodes. And now that literally happens in the first 10 minutes of the movie. So it's like, okay, you start with Sulu, Praxis explodes, don't come, leave us alone, we know what we're doing. Did we already have, I think we had this conversation off the air.
Right.
Cut to Starfleet, the Klingon Empire has 50 years to live. Here's our special envoy that's going to tell us more. Spock gives his speech. Then he and Kirk talk even more. They're animals. Jim, they're dying. Let them die. It's like, we got on that in the first 10 minutes of a 2-hour movie. We are over 2 hours now in Picard, and like I said, we've had one brief muttering of the Romulan Free State.
And at no point did Kirk turn to Spock and say, fuck you, Spock. Let them die. He didn't say that.
He did say let them die, though.
No, but he didn't say fuck you.
No, he didn't say fuck you. That's true. Although, at the end, I love it.
I was going to say forgive me, I'm forgetting the subtitle, but the Voyage Home, I think, with
Star Trek 4, yeah.
Star Trek 4.
With the whales.
That's what made Double Dumbass on You.
Right.
So, worked so well because, you're not used to hearing the swearing. And when he does, a double dumbass on you, oh my gosh.
But that's a lot softer than fuck you. I mean, it could, hey, fuck you, asshole.
No, but even that was it was funny, but it was the shock of it and double dumbass on you too, but that made it work.
Absolutely, yeah, but it was goofy and also, as opposed to flipping him off, he had both hands up. That was his gesture of, up yours. And also, the best is when, and Spock even calling him on it. And I mean that's the thing. At least somebody's calling him on it. Is that really necessary or whatever? But later in Star Trek 4, when he's like, Spock, I need those computations. 1 damn minute, Admiral.
Exactly.
And it freaks out Kirk.
See, that's how you
awesome.
write. Yeah.
And it's Spock. I mean, that's the thing. And I was going to say at the end of Star Trek 6, this is where I thought you were going. When at the very end of the movie, it's like Starfleet has ordered us to come in home and be decommissioned. And he's like, if I were human, I believe go to hell would be my response. Right. And everyone looks up and he's like, if I were human. Yeah. Guess what, Spock? Everybody's human. I find that comment insulting.
Yeah, if they did that, movie now, it'd be, I'd tell them to go fuck off,
I hope not.
Yeah.
And I would think Nimoy would be like, I'm not saying fuck off. Spock wouldn't say fuck off.
Right.
So, but go to hell and double dumbass is a little lighter than that. John Price, who on Medium.com wrote incredibly great essays about Star Trek's Discovery, the first 2 seasons. So much so that I had him on the show last year talking about season 2 of Discovery. And I don't know if I assume he's doing it for Picard as well. I haven't checked. But he said the first 3 episodes should have been 2 condensed episodes focusing entirely on Picard and Earth. They're trying to integrate too many subplots at once, and it's a bit muddled. Picard is the focus, so focus on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then my buddy Rob Burnett says the Romulan hit squad aren't even up to the standards of mid-'80s canon films. And I made the point again. I'm like, do we even know the current status of the Romulan Empire in Picard? Is the existence of the Borg Cube generally known by the galaxy?
We still don't know that, yeah.
And I said, shouldn't we have known that? Or shouldn't we have had that spelled out in the first episode? And Rob says, why, yes, John, we should have.
Yeah.
So how about that? And then I had a great exchange. I had a great exchange with Lenny Cooper. And Lenny's like, I think you're being too hard on Picard, the show. Be careful you don't scare it away, and we're only left with Discovery and short treks. I still enjoyed your recent ep with Franco. Putting on my worked Trek apologist hat to address some of your concerns. Hold on. I don't think it makes any sense to say that Romulan computers are basically just fancy abacuses. I don't think we can infer Romulans hate all cybernetics, AIs, only sentient or close to AI. It could be all AI, but I'm not sure they said that. I mean, the motion sensor on my house alarm system is a form of AI. Wouldn't that run afoul of Romulan prejudices? Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was going to say, except they said it in the episode.
Well, that was my point back. But here he's like, why assume the Romulans have always hated AI? Maybe it's recent. Maybe they suffered an attack similar to the I don't know what the MATS attack is. I don't know. They reacted even harsher than the Federation. Maybe that's the Mars attack. Or maybe they hate it because the Mars attack stopped the relief effort and caused billions of extra Romulans' deaths when their sun blew up. As for the level of writing, while it can be melodramatic at times, I certainly don't think it stands out compared to bad TOS, TNG, DS9, etc., and Patrick Stewart raises it all anyway. Finally, I point out that Loris and Alfred are in the Countdown comic. Yeah, we said that, though, that part. Yeah. Overall, it's wonderful to look forward to new Real Star Trek weekly. Thank heavens they didn't drop the whole season 1 in one shot. Wish The Expanse had done its recent season the same way. And I write back, like you said, I'm like, Loris says to Picard in episode 2, have you ever noticed the complete absence of artificial life in Romulan culture? We don't have androids, AI, or study cybernetics. I'm like, that doesn't sound like some recent shift. I said, rewatch the episode because it's there. And I'm like, and you're right, Lenny, it doesn't make sense that Romulan computers are only used for numeric purposes. But that's also a direct quote from Laris.
Right.
That makes no sense. So the only explanation is shitty writing. Franco and I are teasing that, comparing them to abacuses and calculators. Right. But isn't that basically the same thing? Yeah.
No, I was serious about that. I wasn't teasing.
And then he goes, and then he says perhaps Hazel was exaggerating or being sarcastic, mocking of her people. Wouldn't that be consistent with her character? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I think you're trying to find excuses to justify poor story choices from a dialogue standpoint that fly in the face of other Romulan stories we've had in the past. I'm like, and I said, look, if it doesn't bother you, that's cool. But I'm like, for me, it confuses me.
Yes, I tend to agree with you.
John Price chimes in and says the AI thing is so weird because it's superfluous knowledge. Even the big bad is some AI the Romulans hate. Even if the big bad is some AI the Romulans hate, I doubt it'll pay off the idea that they've always hated AI. It's just unnecessary to make it so absolute. I agree. And he says, I'm not saying you're necessarily wrong as to my characterizations. Lenny is saying this. But still, my main point is the jury should be out because, in contrast to traditional episodes, this really is just a 10-part story.
Is it, though?
Well, I suppose it is, but again, it's like, I hear it, and then I said, I made my point about how the Romulan Free State is so briefly mentioned and everything. Yeah, Now, and then Bernard Binder goes, who cares about the Romulans? A federation of at least 100 different species suddenly decided to other.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. I guess basically like that all these members of the Romulans are like, yeah, or members of the Federation are like, fuck the Romulans. Why is it necessary, Lenny asks, to know the current state of the Romulan government? This is a story as we've seen it so far. It's about Picard's reawakening. How is that essential to Picard at this point? Seems to me the essential point is that the Romulans are after the daughter of Picard's dear friend. They've already thrown a heap of info about the universe. Perhaps there's a plot reason to hold back the one piece you're curious about, or perhaps it's just not important to the story that they're telling. I don't see how you can conclude 30% into the story that it's bad writing to hold back and not address this. And I'm like, well, again, what's the common knowledge right now of the Romulans' current state of existence in the galaxy? I don't think that's unreasonable to ask that. Like I made the point, I'm like, Americans, we don't know the inner workings of how this Russian government works. We do know Putin's in charge and it's Putin's people. We haven't heard that yet.
Right.
And again, as viewers, I think it's okay to just give us a little more clarity of is this an entire Romulan plot? Are the sister warriors in on this plot? I don't believe they are. But again, it's like, okay, give us just even on the surface, give us a fake puppet Romulan government that's trying to make peace with the Federation and going, oh no, everything's fine. No, don't pay attention. No, everything's okay.
Yeah. Two things about that. First of all, it can't be every Romulan because they've been dumped on these planets and forgotten about, basically.
Well, okay.
Like the ones that Picard tried to pick a fight with in that bar. And so my second point is maybe the bad guy is Baltar from Star Galactica.
But to your honest first part, I understand that these refugees have been displaced, but it's not like technology in general has been shut down. So even if they were scattered around, there has to, first of all, the size of the Romulan Empire. I don't believe that, their only hope was to go to the Federation. Maybe it was. I don't know. I mean, I guess because, again, that was what the status was of the Klingon Empire. But I don't believe they wouldn't stay out of contact. And that there wouldn't be some attempt. Again, there is a Romulan Free State. What does that represent? It is in. I mean, that's the thing. They did the point that I also made to Lenny was I'm like, but they did say it. She says it. The Trill says it in the thing, and obviously something's going on where she was rejected and now she's approved. And then again, it was by this Romulan Free State. What do they represent? Are they the mustache twirling bad guys? Okay. Again, I would think that if they're known well enough to recruit other species and stuff, they have to be known in the galaxy. And again, there has to at least be a public face of, nothing to see here. We're trying to pick up our lives.
But then also, why are all these Romulans on this planet totally forgotten about? Like, why hasn't the Romulan Free State recruited some of these people?
Well, maybe they don't have the resources to. Yeah, but that's the thing. Maybe they don't have the. Again, we don't know. But I was going to say maybe they don't have the resources to.
But if you're taking in alien species to do this work, why can't you get them?
Well, my suggestion in terms of why they're going to other species is to support this idea of, hey, we don't know what we're doing when it comes to cybernetics, because the Troll Doctor was another cybernetic expert and everything. So that I suppose, but again, and I mean that's the thing. It's like, is this how public? Like, it has to be public knowledge enough to recruit these other species. So that's where I'm confused about. Is if this is a secret project, how are the other species being made aware of it and being recruited?
Right. Yeah, because she does say that her petition was denied, and then she is. So there's a paper trail.
Well, yeah. And like you said, too, Hugh's like, hey, I'm in charge of this, back off.
Right.
So it's like, what? So I would imagine, obviously, with Jerry Ryan showing up at the end, we'll learn a lot more next episode. But isn't that sad? We still have to wait another 2 hours before we know what the fuck's going on? Mm-hmm. Whatever.
And then we'll be up to episode 6, 7.
True.
And only a few more to go.
Right. Oh, and then now Chris Erickson makes an interesting point. Here's something. I keep thinking that Daj's mother isn't real, but instead an implanted memory that was glitching. That would explain why the scene conversation seems so clunky. Lenny said, I think she's just an internal program, a subroutine, I guess, that runs for the sisters under circumstances. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, it clearly, and like I said, when she's all panicky about Daj, it's like, oh, don't worry, honey. Oh, by the way, I had the car fixed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And also, I was just going to say it also explains why she falls asleep and conks out. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. No, but isn't it interesting that Soji, Daj wasn't aware of Soji as far as I could tell, right? She never talked about her sister. It was Agnes that gave us the, hey, these were made in twos.
Right, but Dash does, so she does know about.
Soji
did know about.
Right,
about Dash,
Soji does know. And that, whatever, but. And again, she was programmed to have this different life. And that was another wrinkle that we learned, obviously, but we kind of already knew it, that she didn't exist before 3 years earlier or whatever. And and also I liked when Romulan Spock was asking about her father and everything.
Right. And Romulan Spock was asking her those questions, and she got very defensive when he, what, you don't believe me, she says? But is she hiding something because she knows that 3 years ago she didn't exist? Or, that brought up that in my mind. What's that?
I think she believes her fake story, just like Dash did.
Yeah, but he questions her and gives her information about her not being there
right on that
3 years before. Right. So. Yeah,
but again, I guess he's testing her limits before, program activated, kill.
Right. Kill bot.
Crush, kill, destroy. Which is from Lost in Space with a robot. So there you go. Those are some observations, if you will, my buddy. But there's some observations from the Peanut Gallery. Our other Picardians of the galaxy.
Yeah.
Data. So, I don't know. We'll see. Again, happy that it's on. Can't wait for next week. I got more questions. I like Highlander Romulan. Eleanor.
Mm-hmm.
I think Agnes is a synth. I think Bruce Maddox is going to be proved to be a secret Romulan.
If he's even alive.
I really, really, really hope we get to see Bruce Maddox. That would be great. Maybe he's going to be a robot too, just like Roger Corby was in that first season of the original series. I am Roger Corby! Ask me any question. Equate. Transmit. Christine, help me. But don't you understand, Roger? You're not you anymore. Oh, why don't you go Mary Roddenberry and shut up?
Well, I guess meet us back here next week for more then.
Sure. Yeah, there you go. Why not? I guess. All right, here's the music.